Oh,
And this is episode 18, part 4. And this is music intersectionalized with politics and culture and all kinds of weirdness.
can't get away from politics these days.
Yeah,
any day.
We're going to start with the new Taylor Swift, and I will say a few words, and I think Steve's going to maybe say most of it. I don't know. I'm going to start though.
You might really get pretty far.
Well,
further than you think.
Let me couch it this way. A lot of you are familiar with the phrase, there's no such thing as an ethical billionaire. And then people would say, oh, but Taylor Swift donated this and this. She's an exception. Well, this latest album and the hype around it and the negative hype around it is, for anybody who didn't already notice it, exposing the fact that she is not an exception to that rule. There is no such thing as an ethical billionaire. She is proving the rule, not an exception to it. And just as a caveat on for myself, I never said that I thought her music was good or that I liked it. What I said was when I listened to some of, not this album, but previous to it, that it was better than I expected. I was not expecting a lot though. So low bar. Right. What else was I going to say? Oh, one point that Steve was not bringing up when we were just discussing things is for some reason, she felt the need with her latest album to do a bunch of exclusive deals with Target, who, as we know, is on our shit list because of their anti-DEI status. I will say, as my wife pointed out, that it is possible that she had a deal with them going back years that she just couldn't get out of. That would be one thing. But excluding that, first, any such deal in this day and age is a kick in the balls to your fans because they should be able to access any of your music, assuming they're willing to pay, through any means necessary without being locked into a particular streaming service or a particular physical vendor or whatever. That's bullshit regardless. But second, if she's going to do that, to go with Target, who is, from the political landscape, kind of a bogeyman itself, that's kind of crap. But then we get into the real dicey part of things, and that's that's her lyrics. And I'm not saying her lyrics were good before, but they get seriously problematic in this one, to the point of, well, let's just be honest, they're elitist and kind of off the cuff racist and some other things. And apparently, once you get looking at it, it doesn't take that much knowledge to decode the shit. It's pretty straightforward. But I'll let Steve kick in from here.
Yeah, so I'll just kind of, since you talked about this billionaire status thing, I'll just kind of say my piece on that one is, beyond the fact that she's a billionaire, right? And that some of the things that she's done to be able to get to that status, and this is the case of all billionaires, one way or another, is because she monopolized and purposely tried to push out rivals. So when somebody else would come out with an album or something like that, she would suddenly come out with some other release of some other old song and some other different variation.
To make it look like she was a challenger, not like they could both be in the spotlight together.
Right. Anytime anybody was getting the spotlight, she would purposely hinder their advancement, and she's been doing this for years. So I'm going to take this back a little bit more to like, how could she even get popular? And I'm going to give look. I understand that music is subjective. It certainly is, and there's a lot of stuff that is, could be looked at in terms of like how technical they are and how good they are as singers in a traditional sense. And there is some music that's very minimalist and don't even require much singing that I really enjoy. I think they're deeper on so many different levels that's people that kind of think my way also agree with. But for me, her simplicity and her mediocrity is very problematic because for me and for a lot of other people, what it represents is the mediocrity, once again, with this DEI thing, where they're saying that, look, we don't want these other people competing because they're getting an unfair advantage because we're just kind of letting them in, when actually their mediocrity is the problem. in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinions, and people that are really versed in music and in other things, and I play guitar, and I've been into, arts and all these things my whole life. I've got a degree in communications, media, and theater, minor in fine art, played guitar, been around lots of musicians and a lot of artists. The vast majority agree she's not good.
I was all state choir 2 years in a row, and my mother taught piano lessons. We know music.
She's not a good singer. She's not a good guitar player. She can't dance, and her lyrics are sophomoric. And when they do have any depth, it's usually some sleight of hand where she's doing some dog whistle, or it's usually some type of narcissist or abuser type language where she can hide behind where she can say, "Oh, that's not what I meant," or she'll say, "No, it's like," her defenders will be like, "Oh no, it's deep. You don't understand. It's deep." Kind of like when MAGA's trying to explain Trump playing 3D chess, right? Then they'll say it's deep. But then when you say, "Well, look, this is the way I'm interpreting it, these ways of dog whistles," so it's like, "Oh, you're looking too far into it. It's not that deep." Well, which is it? Is it deep or not deep?
You can't have it both ways.
You can't have it both ways. So, like I said, she can be shallow and have these sophomoric lyrics that sound like that one girl said, like, "This is stuff I scribbled in my notebook when I was bored when I was in
12 years old,
12 years old," which is what it sounds like to me, and it has been the whole. Look, I never liked her music from day one. I always thought it was just the cheerleader got a guitar somehow, and she was actually like the B Squad cheerleader, so she's really jealous of everyone else. But she's still the cheerleader, and look, she ends up dating a football player, of course, because she's the cheerleader, and that's the way I've always seen it. So is she marrying a football player? That doesn't, of course, she's the cheerleader. I always said that from day one with her. So, and, I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. I tried so hard. And when she was working with Jack Antonoff and all these people, and she actually had a couple, that one song, Folklore, actually, they had a couple songs that were actually listenable. I was trying so hard, and I was like, and especially when MAGA came after her, and I was like, well, she really didn't say anything.
She should have really stood up, and she really didn't.
She didn't do much. She didn't say she was going to vote for him, but she certainly didn't go after him like they deserved, even after he went after her.
That was the bizarre part. That was almost a Ted Cruz kind of move. It was weird.
One singer says one little small thing that might have been about her, and then she writes a whole song like a narcissist would, like, "Oh, you're criticizing me? You must love me." It's like, what are you, in 8th grade? Like, seriously, this is the mentality of this woman. That's the thing. She's a woman. She's 35 years old. So here's my slant on all this, and other people have, kind of solidified all this thinking that I've had for such a long time about her and her mediocrity. But this speaks to, like, why somebody like Trump gets elected.
Yep, unfortunately.
Why does somebody because they can relate to her. Mediocre. She's white, Did she have to work hard? Yeah, she did. But her parents supported her. She got in the industry. She had this backing from day one, and they knew she could sell. And she sung simpleton songs for simple people. And they want to make it deep because it's deep for them, because this is emotional stuff about relationships. But most people, by their mid-20s or something, have outgrown that. So if you're a Swiftie at 35 and you hear this, you're going to lose your ever-loving mind because it sounds so ridiculous. And that's why a lot of people who have been on her band, like on her side for so long, are flipping it.
Or they're doing the opposite. They're becoming cult-like. I mean, I had some posts where I just barely started. Actually, I don't think I actually said 2 words, but I shared some videos about her, and there were videos that barely said anything. They basically just said, "Hey, not a great album." That was literally about all they said, and these people were losing their minds. How can you be critical of her? How can you possibly? We said that it wasn't a great album. That's all we said. We didn't say she was a terrible person. We didn't say that she, whatever.
It's this emotional stuff. It's this emotional stuff where people lose their ever-loving minds.
Right.
They can't criticize somebody like Trump or MAGA or something. And this is what I really want to get to, and this is very problematic to me because this is indicative, and people will probably say, "This is such a stretch, dude," but it's not a stretch. This is indicative of our culture, our society in general. This is the white supremacy, and there's dog whistles in this album. Look, this whole time, this is nothing more than a Chad Wife album, and the way I look at this, This is, if you listen to the lyrics and some of this stuff, I don't want to get into
what's weird about her though is going back to the trad wife comment. She's halfway in, halfway out with her own relationship. Like, if she was really wanting to support her football husband, why wouldn't she perform for the halftime show? You know, like,
yeah, that was
know,
weird too. But
is,
I just want to get back to this whole thing that I'm trying to map out here. I haven't fully fleshed out. You know, some other people have it a really much better way than I have. But there's lots of videos out there to go look at some people who really can describe this stuff.
So if you're new to it, go look at them after you watch this.
Yeah, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And this is something that I've kind of had this whole time. And even though, like I said, I tried defending her so many times, and I tried to find a way to like her and try to figure out why people liked her, even though I could never...
I know I'm interrupting, but that's what a number of people have said, is that basically it feels like she's stopped trying.
Yes.
Like before,
well, the mask is off.
The mask is off. Like, that's a better verbiage for it. That before she was either trying to be a better person, be a better billionaire, whatever, or she was at least doing a better job of pretending, and now she's just done with it.
Well, listen to the lyrics of the album.
Yeah.
She literally says shit like that in the album.
Yeah.
Like, this is the album I wanted to always make. This is me, who I really am. And, and then what it all boils down to is, so you've always been, the white girl who wants to be in the kitchen cooking the dinner for your football husband, for your trad wife husband, and in one of the lyrics too, it's like, white picket fence and everyone looking like me, on the block. It's really troublesome. It's really troublesome if you look at it. And once again, she's going to hide, and her fans are going to hide behind this bullshit that either you're not looking deep enough or you're looking too deep. And this is what abusers and narcissists do. And I've thought she was a narcissist from day one, because every single song is about her relationships, and she's always the victim. Like, how many relationships has this woman been through since she couldn't make one stick, and everyone ended up bad? Like, I don't think there's a single amicable breakup. Like, in my life, I've had so many breakups, or people that I was like, and then eventually we're still friends. Like, we stay friends, we still talk, right. We still have like a relationship afterwards. It's like this. It's like, and in a lot of cases also too, it's like, look, nobody's to blame here. Nobody's bad. It just didn't work. Things just didn't work out. So
no, but the narcissist thing, it's like my friend from high school. That's all I'm going to say. So you can't draw lines and figure out who I'm talking about. But he doesn't have, like you said, relationships where, I'm still friends with so and so. Every single one of them. Not only was it her fault, but if you get him talking, he will bring up this person by name and say, she was a bad person. She was she did this, and she was, just this exaggerated language. And then the first time you get a chance to meet one of these people, they're like, she's a normal person. What the hell was he talking about? It's so exaggerated. And I get why you would do that for artistic purposes, but if that's the way you actually believe, and at a certain point, if you do that over and over, we have to believe that you actually believe that. Well, it's like I said, it's not to put her in the same camp as the orange one, but it's one of those telltale signs of narcissism.
Yeah. Well, it's a telltale sign of narcissism, and then also, look at her songs, her lyrics. Either she's in a relationship or recovering from a relationship. There's no other.
She doesn't talk about anything else.
She doesn't talk about anything else. Like, if you look at, the Beatles had "I Want to Hold Your Hand" when they were 20 years old, and then by the time they're later on, you've got the White Album and stuff. You've got or
if you want to go the other extreme, Black Sabbath had a few love songs, and so did Metallica. Everybody mixes it up somewhere.
Yeah, and the whole world is wrapped around her. In her life and her relationships, and she has no identity outside of these relationships. And the one identity that she did have, where she was kind of altruistic and left-leaning a bit, was because her boyfriend was. So now she comes out and says, this is the album that I always wanted to make. This is my proudest album, because this is truly her. This is her taking off the mask and saying, I am a white, mediocre woman. I've got issues with other people, minorities and other people, because I want to be on top, and I want to be this dude's wife, and it's really depressing.
And I make a whole lot of money because I charge for my ticket prices.
The fact that she's a billionaire on top of it just adds insult to injury. Because this just shows how fucked up this world is. That this mediocre white girl who can't sing, can't dance, can't play guitar, sings only about herself, is so popular. What does that say about society? That's my, like, what does that say about society?
But is it really that she's that popular, or she just understands the payola mechanisms and she's able to push
how
the
to
right
brainwash
buttons?
people into believing? And once I said they identify with her because she's mediocre, like they are.
Yeah.
You know, so that's my take. You know,
so we were.
This might be one of the funny things. We talk all this crap about politics. This might be the one we get some.
This is probably the one that if we get a whole bunch of questions and spin-off things, this will be it. But,
because there's a lot of liberals who like her. So.
If you want to see something even crazier, it might not be crazier, but the one that is more recent is Bad Bunny.
Yeah.
And I just want to dip my most recent experience with this out there because it has my mind turning in on itself. I saw a negative post about Bad Bunny that was not, I highlight, not from a white person or MAGA. In fact, it was from the exact opposite. It was from a Latino woman who I know, who she and her husband are originally not from the United States. Obviously, they speak Spanish. They are not conservative. But she was like, "Oh, we're just objecting because his lyrics are like really objectionable and whatever." Now, I admit, first and foremost, my Spanish isn't perfect, and I haven't listened to a lot of Bad Bunny. But I can look at who's performed at the halftime shows before, and it's not exactly a list of people who have a lot of family friendly lyrics. So it's so to have that as a claim of, "Oh, this is why you shouldn't have him." I'm not saying that. I don't know how extreme his lyrics are, but look, that's a weak argument. That's a weak argument.
Yeah, not only is that a weak argument, that's not why they want. Let's just put this right. Let's just say what's going on here. So the Super Bowl's having this guy Bad Bunny. He's from Puerto Rico, right?
And he is one of the top artists in the world right now. Actually.
So basically, Trump comes out and says that this guy, this non-American, this guy who's not even a citizen because he's from this Mexico city called Puerto Rico. He literally said
those were his exact words.
Yeah. So first
of all,
mind you,
he had it. Oh yeah.
First of all, he's a citizen, right?
Right. He's from Puerto Rico, which is part of the U.S. technically.
Right.
Yes.
So they're saying he's not American and he doesn't speak enough English, and that's why he shouldn't play. Which is just basically flat out fucking racist and lie. It's a racist lie. So this is their whole beef with this Bad Bunny guy. Not that because he's not popular, not anything else, right? So here they are trying to say...
why did they have Shakira? She non-U.S. citizen, actual non-U.S. citizen, who mostly sang in Spanish. So, none of
it's bullshit.
It's all just... Yeah.
The whole discussion has jumped the shark so fucking long ago that he's literally saying that Puerto Rico is a Mexican city. And people are believe this shit. That's how fucked up this fucking country is right now. That he could actually come out and say something like that and doesn't get fucking institutionalized. So that's not the only fucking crazy shit he said.
I think part of why he gets away with it is because, like everything else, it's such a barrage that we don't even know what to do anymore. Because it's like, well, yeah, it's insane, but he said things twice as insane 2 days ago. So what are we going to do?
And these are the people who said that Biden was insane. But anyways, so here he is talking complete insanity,
gibberish, basically.
Gibberish that doesn't make any sense, right? So, and then what I wanted to say about this whole thing, and when I brought this up as a topic, was here these people are at the Charlie Kirk's what's that thing he had when he was running Turning Point USA,
right. Correct.
Turn Point USA or Turning Point, whatever the fuck.
Turning, yeah.
They want to have an alternative Super Bowl show. What, you guys aren't racist, white nationalists that. You're so you're trying to say that you're not. You're trying to say that you're not these white nationalist racists, but you gotta have a show, a white show, to counteract this Puerto Rican show of a U.S. citizen showing something that you don't like, so that you could have your own Super Bowl show. What the fuck is going on? It's just racist. It's just straight up racist.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that. That is how fucked up and how far.
Oh, and the wild thing. Here's another wild point. The NFL itself. I realized just recently, or somebody pointed out a post or something that was showing that American football, what we call football,
Right.
is becoming more of an international sport.
Yeah.
And the irony is that the only people who don't like that fact are these white nationalist people who are so embedded with the idea that this is ours, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, it's crazy. I don't know what else to say.
So I think what we could end this with, like, just kind of summarize all this stuff. You got the mediocre white girl who can't sing, dance, her lyrics are sketchy and cringe at best for somebody like me. And I understand this is all subjective, but the mere fact that look, music, I can understand music is subjective, and some people might enjoy it and like it. I get it. But the mere fact that she's a billionaire and has this much influence is the scary part, and I think says something about society in general. And taking a guy who, once again, subjectively, whatever, and then saying that he doesn't deserve to be in the Super Bowl because he's from the Mexican city of Puerto Rico, and we're going to have an alternate Super Bowl, speaks to white supremacy, speaks to the sickness in this society and the sickness in this nation from day one.